What's up, guys? Welcome to Making Houston Home. My name is Rene Lara. I'm the founder of Making Houston Home Real Estate. Today, I'm going to be showing y'all the 10 most popular suburbs here in Houston, Texas. So, these aren't going to be in any particular order. Honestly, what I feel is important for me and my family might be different than what you're looking for with you and your family. So, these are really just the top 10 cities that people are moving to here in Houston and kind of the cities that I get the most questions about from you guys. So again, everybody's different. Houston is such a huge city with vastly different suburbs. It kind of just, you got to pinpoint where you want to be, where you're going to be working, the things you want to be close to as far as entertainment venues or just different lifestyles all within the same city of Houston, which is massive. So again, no particular order, just kind of the top 10 areas, top 10 suburbs here in Houston. So getting started, we're going to start with Clear Lake. So Clear Lake is on the southeast side of Houston. If you're looking at a map, Houston's basically a circle. Southeast side is Clear Lake. So Clear Lake's really cool. We have some friends there. A lot of shopping and dining. You're close to the Kemah Boardwalk right there on the Gulf. So pretty cool area. A lot of restaurants and bars, a lot of nightlife there. Randomly, if you follow me on Instagram, which by the way, follow me on Instagram, it's I am Rene Lara. You'll see that I do have a lot of tattoos. My tattoo artist is in Clear Lake, so I spend a lot of time down in Clear Lake. It's about an hour from where I live in Kingwood, but beautiful city, great homes, a lot of nightlife, a lot of shopping, really great area down there in Clear Lake. Next, kind of going up to the northwest side of Houston, is Cypress. So Cypress is probably most known for its schools. Really, really great schools, great football program. You got Cypress Ranch High. One of the newest schools there is in the Bridgeland development, which is a huge master plan community. It's called Bridgeland High. Great school. It's like 3-story high school. Great football program. So Cypress is really big. The backside of Cypress where Bridgeland is runs along the 99 toll road, which is kind of on the outskirts of Houston. So Houston is set up with these loops, what we call them. So you got 610, Beltway 8, and then 99 is the biggest loop on the outside. So the furthest west part of Cypress is right there, and that's right where that Bridgeland development is. So talking specifically to commuting, if you want to live in that area, you are most likely going to have to commute to work unless you work from home. So if you got to get down into downtown, it's going to be about a 45-minute drive, generally speaking. If you're further than that along the Gulf, like where the oil refineries are, that's a long drive from Cypress. So you might want to look on maybe the south or northeast side of Houston if you are going to be working along the Gulf. After Cypress, probably one of the most highly sought after areas is the Woodlands. And I feel like everybody knows about the Woodlands. That's usually one of the first questions people ask. It's beautiful. Being from Southern California myself, I grew up in LA. I lived in South Orange County for about 8 years before we moved here. So the Woodlands actually reminds me a lot of South Orange County. So we lived close to San Clemente, San Juan Capistrano area, Ladera Ranch. It was called Rancho Mission Viejo. So we spent a lot of time down there in that South County area, and the Woodlands reminds me of that a lot. Even like going over to like Newport, Costa Mesa, all the shopping, kind of entertainment stuff has really that same South County vibe, if you will. And if you're from the area, you probably understand what I mean, but just really pretty. And again, home prices aren't that bad in the Woodlands. It's a little bit more expensive than probably anywhere else around Houston, but there's so much there and you have so much diversity. You got like ExxonMobil headquarters are there. There's a ton of corporations headquarters there in the Woodlands and kind of North Spring area. So a lot of well-paying, high-paying jobs there, corporate type people there in the Woodlands. Next after that, probably my favorite place, which is where I live, is Kingwood. And the reason I bring up Kingwood right after the Woodlands is the Woodlands is basically Kingwood on steroids. So you got kind of that same aesthetic. So Kingwood is well known or mostly known for the trees. It's literally called the livable forest. So you're driving through Kingwood. Kingwood Drive is a tunnel of trees. Just really, really pretty. You know, one of the downsides people talk a lot about Kingwood is the flooding. It did flood during Harvey, which pretty much the whole city of Houston flooded. So it's hard to like pinpoint one area and say this is worse than others, because it kind of just depends on where these storms hit. But Kingwood did flood. There are a lot of parts of Kingwood that did not flood. You know, the development we live in, it's called Sand Creek. It did not flood it during Harvey. We haven't had any flooding issues here in this area. So just, again, if you're thinking about Kingwood, reach out. And that's probably one of the most important things to talk about anywhere in Houston, is if you are worried about hurricanes and flooding, just making sure that whatever area you're going to be in is not within those floodplains. But Kingwood, great family area, really good schools, kind of a slower community, sort of tucked away, so extremely safe, because you know, there's only 1 or 2 ways in and out of Kingwood, so there's not really much going on. Slower town, you know, restaurants and bars usually close around 10 o'clock. So again, family friendly, very quiet, very quaint community in Kingwood. Next area, we'll kind of go the opposite direction again. Southeast is Sugarland. So Sugarland, you can live in Sugarland pretty much anywhere you're going to work in Houston. If you're downtown, it's a straight shot into downtown. If, say, you're in the oil industry or chemical industry and you're going to be working along the Gulf, you know, you can take one of those toll roads just south around the city and get over to the east side to work on that side. So, you know, very kind of similar to everything too. I'm almost going to feel like a broken record as I do this, because almost every suburb in Houston has great schools. So Sugarland's got great schools. Katy, Pearland, you know, all these other areas I'm going to talk about all have really good public school systems. So Sugarland's one of them. Also, a good thing about Sugarland, right in Stafford, which is right next to it, there's actually an In-N-Out there too. There's only 3 In-N-Outs here in Houston. So you got one there in Stafford, you got one in Spring, and then a brand new one that just opened up in the Woodlands, which I forgot to mention. But there is a brand new In-N-Out in the Woodlands that we are frequenting often now. So yeah, Sugarland, good schools. You know, there are some new construction areas there, good for commuters, just really pretty area. Going from there, kind of going back west of the city, is Katy. And Katy, as I mentioned, it is on the west side, so it's kind of open land going west, like towards San Antonio. So Katy just kind of keeps expanding and expanding and expanding. So a lot of new development. If you want a new home and a good price range with a good sized lot, you know, Katy is a great option for that. And again, schools, Katy ISD has really, really great schools. You know, you got Cinco Ranch, which is nearby, which is popular. There's another new development called Tamarone, which is really popular. Just a lot of new development, a lot of stuff happening in Katy, and it's kind of just blowing up that whole west side of Houston over there. Kind of going up to the north again, you know, the Woodlands was north. Going northwest, you're gonna have Montgomery. I'll kind of lump these 3 in together. You got Montgomery, Tomball, and Magnolia. So we're seeing a lot of influx into those areas right now, and they're historically old towns, but you're seeing a lot more new development there. So it's kind of a cool clash of these 2 different types of things. So you got new development with these old cities, so you're seeing these really old kind of downtowns with the old brick buildings, which are really cool. But with newer development around. So you're seeing new restaurants and bars and a lot of entertainment things popping up in those areas. And a lot of people moving to those areas because they are developing now. So you have people that used to live in like Spring and the Woodlands and kind of closer to the city that are making their way to the outskirts of Houston a little bit more. So those 3 are really, really great options as well. Kind of just a little fun fact. Montgomery is actually the birthplace of the Texas flag. So it's just a really small historic town, and with all the development that has been going on, Montgomery, Tomball, and Magnolia are not too far from the Woodlands. So Magnolia is pretty far out from the city. So if you're going to be living out there, you might, you probably work from home, or you're going to have a commute into the city. But the Woodlands isn't very far from those areas either. So I think that's one of the biggest draws for people moving to those areas right now, is that you're kind of on the outskirts, more secluded, kind of private lifestyle, but you're very close to the Woodlands. So when you want, if you work in the Woodlands, or say you want to come to the Woodlands for entertainment or dining or just other things to do, it's not a far drive to get there. So those are actually really, really great spots if you want that type of lifestyle where it's kind of more slow paced. All of Houston is a lot more slow paced than like LA, where I'm from, for example. But to have an even more slower pace of life, kind of that northwest side is what you're looking for. And then when you want to go downtown, you want to go to the Woodlands, you can, it's not really a terrible drive to go do those things. So, that's kind of my top 10 list, just really quick. Again, that wasn't any particular order. As I talk to people more often and people are flying out here from LA and New York, I was just with someone from South Carolina. I'm learning that the things that I find important aren't necessarily the things that you might find important. So, it's my job just to kind of give you this information and then help y'all best decide what's going to be the best decision for you and your family. So, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and reach out to me. My number's below. That's my direct line. You can call me, text me, you can email me, you can schedule a Zoom call below as well. Just reach out to me in any way if you have any questions about moving here to Houston and kind of where you want to be, because as I mentioned, it is a really, really big city, and pinpointing a specific area for you can be pretty difficult. So having those conversations, I can help you decide where you want to be in Houston. So I appreciate y'all. God bless you, and I'll see you on the next one.